Hello, podcast listeners and movie flicker pickers, and welcome to the Pic-a-Flic podcast, a series of reviews for film and occasionally television. It's hosted by your host with the most, the Western Wonder. In this episodic installment, we'll be taking a look at a very ambitious comedy from the late 90s, and one that has always stood out to me for years after watching it for the first time. The movie in question is none other than Bowfinger, directed by one of the most interesting filmmakers to come out of Hollywood. No, it's not Steven Spielberg. It's not quite Scorsese. It's not quite Spike Lee either. It's Frank Oz, aka one of the OG Muppet performers alongside the late, great Jim Henson, and the same man who brought us the voices of such beloved characters as Miss Piggy, Fozzie Bear, Animal, Sam the Eagle, Bert, Cookie Monster, Grover, and even resident Star Wars wise man Yoda. Resume stacked, CI. Beyond the endless log of voice credits, Mr. Oz has directed several feature films, all met with a variety of critical responses, more so on the positive side. Notable films that he has directed include What About Bob?, Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, and my personal favorite, Little Shop of Horrors. He also co-directed The Dark Crystal with Jim Henson. However, when Bowfinger rolled around in the summer of '99, I feel like while the movie critics did give it its positive due, audience reception kind of just let it go on the wayside where other popular titles such as The Sixth Sense were thriving at the time. Despite this, Bowfinger is Frank Oz's third highest grossing film worldwide of follow-up films to Score, starring Robert De Niro and Marlon Brando, and a critically panned remake of The Stepford Wives starring Nicole Kidman taking the preceding two spots. And the film has become a bit of a semi-cult classic in subsequent years. Now, with this in mind, let's move forward with the plot of the movie, followed by my thoughts on how it still holds up for me after watching it for the first time a few years ago. Strap in, ladies and gents, we're headed to Hollywood to make a movie. Steve Martin plays Bobby Bowfinger, a down-on-his-luck, low-budget filmmaker wanting to make this big movie, and it's accounted for an Afro may have found the right script for him. Titled Chubby Rain, the project is described as a campy sci-fi feature where its lead protagonist, Keith Kincaid, has to take down aliens who appear via chubby raindrops. And the tagline is something stellar.
Gotcha, suckers! I mean, that is a moment.
While Bowfinger is hype, his team of actors, including a prima donna named Carol, played by Christine Baranski, aren't too enthused with the idea, until he makes his next moves that surely excites them. He stages a quote-unquote meeting with a major executive named Jerry Renfro, played by a pre-Marvel Robert Downey Jr. in a big role, who gives Bowfinger the promise of getting Universal Studios to distribute the project, but only on one condition: getting him one of Hollywood's biggest stars to lead the project. And who could that be, you might ask? Enter Kit Ramsey, played by Eddie Murphy, an unhinged, delusional, extraterrestrial-fearing star, as you would expect an actor who might have gone through the ringer mentally, as evidenced in his intro where he gets the movie script from his agent.
Damn it, Hal, I'm the biggest black action star in the world!
Kid.
Where's my Hasta La Vista, baby?
What are you talking about?
My Hasta La Vista! Look, if Arnold Schwarzenegger is getting to say lines like that, you better make sure the Kit Ramsey has shit that's equally well written. I tell you what, you better find me a line as good as the times I told Tommy Lee Jones, fuck y'all, and blew his brains out.
Hey, yo, kid, you know what's happening here? This is just another example of the white man taking all the best catchphrases and then giving them to Arnold.
Exactly,
Stallone.
exactly, and Jackie Chan and Van Damme. And they can't even speak English good. The letter K appears in this script 1,456 times. That's perfectly divisible by 3.
So what? So what you saying?
What am I saying? K appears in this script 486 times.
You need to leave.
This is a great script. Look, it's not Shakespeare, but
Hey, what'd you just say?
I said it's not Shakespeare, but
It's not shake. Did you hear what he's doing?
Oh yeah. I know he's doing something. I just can't put my finger on it. Yeah. What's he doing?
Shakespeare, Freddie, Shakespeare. Shakespeare, spear chucker. Shakespeare, I'm a spear chucker now.
Kid.
Oh, I'm a spear chucker. You come to my house, call me a spear chucker, huh?
Kid, listen, I got some calls.
Yeah, go to the office and make some calls. Go call Arnold and Sly and Van Damme and Jackie Chan and tell them the spear chucker said hello.
Kit subscribes to the cult-like Scientology bordering group known as Mindhead, whereas the therapist, played by Terrence Stamp, tries to give Kit some peace of mind.
Keep it together.
After passing up the Chubby Rain script from from Universal, Bowfinger tries to keep his conversation with Kit going, but acting as if he's a Mindhead subscriber, but Ramsey sees through the facade and says, "Hell no," to starring in it with his consent and knowledge. So Bowfinger, with the assistance of his cameraman Dave, played by Jamie Kennedy, decides to film around Kit without him or the other cast and crew for that matter knowing. Meanwhile, Bowfinger scouts his next female actress before begrudgingly landing on Daisy, played by Heather Graham, a precocious young woman from Ohio, or Chicago, or somewhere, who initially wins a male co-star's heart with a kissing audition that goes on for much longer than I remember it happening. So to the filmmakers,
You so freaky ass!
Neighbor.
while innocuous at first, she immediately starts working her way up to the top of the male food chain to advance her involvement in the project and her career in general. An interesting tidbit that I read before watching this is that the character of Daisy was apparently loosely inspired by Steve Martin's real-life relationship with the late Anne Hesh, which will come up again when I get to the climax of the film. After assembling another actress, an additional set of crew members, which is composed of Mexican immigrants that may or may have not been deliberately pushing to take another position from the border, the shoot is ready to take place. The first couple of shoots go down well for the crew. The first scene involves Daisy, terrible accent and all, chasing after Kit's limo, causing him to ask his limo driver's name is Keith, but his actual name is Thomas. The second scene gets a bit more stressful for Kit. Carol comes into this outdoor restaurant while he's having lunch.
White boys get all the Oscars. It's a fact.
We know that, but look.
Did I get a nomination? No, and you know why? Because I ain't playing none of them slave roles or get my ass whipped. That's when you get the nomination.
Kid, that's what
Black dude play a slave role, get his ass whipped, he get the nomination. White boy play an idiot, they get the Oscar. Maybe I should find me a script as a retarded slave, then I get the Oscar.
Oh, I'm gonna schmooze. I'll be right back.
Yeah, go find that script. Fuck the Wonder Slave.
And goes into this riveting monologue about aliens in true Christine Baranski fashion.
When you left Phoenix, it wasn't because you wanted to raise soybeans. You had to get away. Why? Why? Was it because you wanted me and it burned inside of you?
I beg your pardon?
Come back to Phoenix. Stop this madness. Let me in on whatever mission this is that you're doing. And you know who I am? Of course. You're Keith Kincaid. You've come down from Wyoming with your damn UFOs. You bastard! 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 Because you prefer alien love.
Alien love? Why'd you say alien love?
I must get my umbrella.
Chicken divorces.
Oh!
After this interaction, this gets brought up in another mind-headed session between Kit and his therapist, which gets to showcase a not-too-shabby JFK impression from Eddie Murphy.
As I stand here before you today, the Laker girls' cheerleading squad needs to be taken down a peg or two.
Now, the third shoot, and possibly one of my personal favorite bits of this whole movie, involves Kit being gaslit into believing that Carol, aka the femme fatale, is chasing him in a dark parking garage, when in actuality is Bowfinger's pet dog Betsy with cute little high heels that make effective clicking noises. Kit's sound effect reactions are hilarious here. Watching the film back in post, the team was extremely impressed with the scene, and Carol in particular.
His fear is so real. It's like it's actually happening.
In fact, she is so impressed that she's dying to finally meet and have an actual chat with Kit, but Bowfinger says, no, he's method acting, let's not interact with him. But does she listen to his advice? Nope. She visits Kit to give him props on his performance in the project so far, especially the way he's tackling the alien subplot. This notion proves to be the last straw for Kit as his next session with Mindhead sees him panicking about an alien invasion, which prompts the group to send Kit in hiding for a while, causing chaos to Bowfinger's production and return. In a panic, Bowfinger sends his crew to search for potential replacements because, as he states,
Kid has shown his ass in 8 of his last 10 films, and 8 of his last 10 films have been hits, so we need a guy with a fabulous ass. And mine is the wrong color.
The brief segment actually features a cameo I actually didn't recognize the first time watching this film. Phil Lewis, aka Mr. Mosby from the Sweet Life of Zack and Cody series. I don't know what it was about him that made me miss his cameo when I first watched this. Perhaps it's because he looks unrecognizable with facial hair, and probably the lack of stress from having to chase around 2 blonde-haired, bold-cut sporting kids to stop running around like his hotel lobby, or having to ask a ditzy brunette whether she prefers
Am or film?
Eventually, the team lands on Jefferson, or Jeff for short, also played by Eddie Murphy. What a coincidence that it won't come in handy a little later. Jeff can be described as this naive, neurotic, and nerdy guy who means well, not as an actor, but someone who'd be willing to deliver your groceries from Instacart or someplace else.
Oh yeah, quite a bit actually. I have quite a bit experience. I'm active
renter at Blockbuster, and I attend the film to cinema as much as possible, weekly, bi-weekly, intermediately.
Would you be willing to cut your hair?
Oh. Yes, but it's usually better if someone else does it. I've had a few accidents.
Can you see without your glasses?
Oh, yeah, I can see. I don't really see well, but I can see.
Do you have contacts?
I have contact lenses. I can wear my contact lenses. And a health. Mm-hmm. Can I put my glasses back on?
Sure, please.
I get a little headache.
Hold on. Let me ask him something. Mr. Jeff, did you happen to partake in some reefer before you got to your audition today?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Either way, his awkward yet frenetic energy gets him to slide, and immediately would regret joining as the first scene Bowfinger has him shooting is on a busy highway with quote-unquote stunt drivers, or so Mr. Finger says they are. Man, the genuine look of fear on Jeff's face in the scene is so hilarious that you feel so bad for him already, and he's hardly been on screen for 5 minutes.
Long.
It's fear. It's so moving. It's actually helpful.
Emily Love, Emily Clavin. That was so fantastic. Congratulations. It was so good. I don't want to do it anymore. What are you talking about? I don't want to know. I just want to run errands. Emily God.
What are you talking about? Not many people can do what you just did. The stunt drivers were really impressed, weren't they?
Really?
And just when you think that Bowfinger's one-take rule would apply in Jeff's favor, he's forced to do another take, running down the highway. Mind you, this is the only time we see any of Bowfinger's shoots be done more than once for the entirety of the movie. The next scene sees Jeff shooting a love scene with Daisy, even though he turns out to be distracted.
Kit, I don't know what's right anymore. All I know is I have feelings that make me need you. Need you now.
Context for audio listeners. Something revealing on Daisy's beholder renders Jefferton speechless.
Awesome.
You're doing great.
You're gonna be a star. And cut.
After a much-needed break out of the public eye, Kit finally reemerges, which of course gets used for another spectacular scene of the Chubby Rain Project, where Kit has an interesting interaction with Slater. Something to do with plutonium?
Listen, that plutonium is mine and has been registered to be used for religious purposes.
Yeah, you actually have some plutonium?
He's got plutonium?
Either way, he freaks out again and bails out in his weird mobile. The crew break for lunch at a diner where it's revealed that, egad, Jeff is related to Kit? As Daisy sets her eyes on her next target, Bowfinger starts to feel guilty for using Jeff for the way that he is. But that feeling is soon sour when Jeff returns from an intimate session in the van with Daisy later, and soon finds a lackey tasked to figure out Kit's next move for the next big finale scene is shot while Bowfinger chews out Daisy. Spoiler alert, this does not work, as they are playing the long con on each other after all, so they arrange another date anyways. Even more interesting, she's one of the only crew members to know that Bowfinger is running a facade thanks to an intimate meeting with Dave the cameraman, the only other person who knows of Bowfinger's true motives. Now it's time for the final shoot, and it gets even more wackier as it involves a melting police officer ranting and raving about gonads, but don't worry, that's just Afro in disguise. A movie theater with quote-unquote aliens disguised as humans, and Carol screaming like a banshee again.
No! I'm Keith!
Oh my god.
Now at this point, Kit's mental state has completely gone down the shitter and he truly thinks that he's Keith now. As Bowfinger tries to get Kit to say the catchphrase that we've all been waiting for, all the chaos has screwed the poor man's brain that he's literally lost for words, and just as he's able to try to formulate anything, the Mindhead crew appear to shut things down.
Well, it seems the paranoid are sometimes actually being followed.
This film is only for Madagascar and Iran, neither of which accept American copyright or trademark law.
Terry! Hi! I'm Pic-a-Flic! I saved the world!
So the whole production seems to be a buzz as to one quote. The only scripted quote that they tried to get out of Kit Ramsey was taken away from them. And while the younger cohorts are justifiably upset by Bowfinger's deceptive facade, and furthermore their work likely not going to be shown anywhere because of the shutdown, Carol, the veteran actress, brings home one of the most honest-to-God and moving quotes about how she felt while working on the movie.
Carol, what do you think?
I think it was a beautiful lie.
Bless your spirit, Christine Baranski. Now, it may seem like things are over. However, some incriminating footage regarding Kit showing off his unmentionables to a team of unsuspecting Laker girls who laugh off the size of his member is recovered by the crew. Bowfinger brings said footage over to the Mindhead team as a blackmail permission request tactic.
You realize there's not a court in the country wouldn't consider this blackmail.
You know what? I don't know anything about blackmail because I'm just a guy. A guy with a great film in the can, and all I really need is a shot of Kit saying "gotcha suckers" and a couple of little close-ups. Or we have to tag our film with a shot of Kit wagging his thing at the Laker girls, which is a great ending. I mean, who wouldn't want to see that? Although technically it's not such a good ending for Kit because it could sort of stop his money flow and possibly make that family film he's about to do, just...
We'll have to think about it. I mean, we'll have to think about it for Kit.
Well, now that you've had time to think about it, what do you and the other fellows here at Mindhead think?
And believe it or not, the play works, and the Chubby Rain premiere is held. Everybody is in attendance, with Bowfinger accompanied by Carol as his date, and Kit is accompanied by who else but Daisy as his date, with much bewilderment and confusion from her fellow male co-workers. And I gotta say that the final cut of Chubby Rain looks really interesting, and it kind of makes you wish that it was an actual movie. The movie audience agrees with me on this favor, as this gets a standing O from everybody, making this one of the most wholesome moments of the movie. Bowfinger finally chased his dream on a limited budget, and he won. The after-party post-screening is lively, and one of the most interesting anecdotes is that Daisy returns with another partner. This time, a woman. However, there is a bit of dialogue that she says that further cements the Anne Hesh comparison, where Daisy refers to her new female partner as one of the most powerful lesbians in Hollywood, a likely reference to Dory herself, Ellen DeGeneres, who started a relationship with Hesh after her relationship with Steve Martin folded, and ended a relationship with DeGeneres a year after this movie came out. But back to Mr. Finger. He gets his anticipated FedEx package, and after much hyped-up anticipation, it's revealed that he's got a new movie offer in his hands. Titled Fake Purse Ninjas, this project is a kung fu-centered flick starring Jif and Bowfinger as long-lost brothers who take on, well, you guessed it, fake purse ninjas. Even this parody movie could be something interesting as its own thing, similar to Chubby Rain. And well, that's the movie. And now, for my general thoughts on this movie. Bowfinger is criminally underrated, is an entertaining, humorous romp about the joys and the ills of filmmaking in the wood, and how far one would be willing to go when they're running a long con. Steve Martin plays a conniving straight man in Bowfinger very well, and despite his shady ways, you do see his ambition and commitment to the project, and of course, the character development as he realizes more of his wrong as the film progresses. Now, need I say much about Eddie Murphy here? This is one of his finest comedic performances to date, for sure. Something must have been in his juice in 1999, between doing this, the movie Life of Martin Lawrence, and voicing the lead character in the short-lived cartoon The PJs. He was on one. Both of his character introductions are sharp and give off some good belly laughs in the movie. And bonus points to Mr. Murphy for playing two characters with minimal amounts of makeup attached. The supporting players were also very strong here. Heather Graham's Daisy was a fun character with a purposely god-awful accent she has in the Chubby Rain movie, and Christine Baranski turns in a fiery, energetic performance that, in an alternate universe where the Oscars actually took comedy seriously, her and Eddie Murphy's performances should have gotten Oscar cred. As I mentioned, her line with Bowfinger's lines revealed at the end really stood out. Now, despite them being second bananas of some sort, the characters of Afram, Slater, and Dave were also well played by respective actors Adam Alexei Mal, Cole Sudath, and Jamie Kennedy, respectively. And a special shout out to the actors playing the Mexican crews who actually got better and better at the filming job as the movie progresses. And the secret weapon herself, Betsy the dog, who got to shine at the hilarious garage scene. I wonder if she's done any other movies before or after this. Another thing that I did like within this movie is some of the scorching hot satire underneath its exterior. From Kit's paranoid race-driven antics to the mindhead themes relating to Scientology, allegedly, to Daisy's character being inspired by Anne Hesh and Steve Martin's relationship, which is still mind-boggling to me, it is one of those movies that you may have watched as a young kid that is good to go back to see what you might have missed as you've gotten older. Side note, the pacing of the movie, the more dialogue-driven pieces in the comedy, is good at not making the movie feel too overrun. And another thing, the soundtrack is a certified banger, featuring oldies from the 60s greats, ranging from James Brown to Marvin Gaye. And both the soundtrack and the score complements the movie's different scenes and moods very well. On the Pic-a-Flic rating scale out of 5 popcorn buckets, I'm going to give Bowfinger a very strong 4 out of 5 buckets. Or stars. If you want a quick-witted, highly entertaining comedy to check out with two of some of the finest comedian actors to come out of the 20th century, then this might be the flick for you. Hopefully it'll give you as many laughs as it did for me. Frank Oz definitely did his thing on this one for sure, and I may do a deep dive into some of his other works he's directed, other than Little Shop of Horrors, which I've watched. And that, folks, will conclude this episode's review. Coming up next on the pod, a review for The Fall Guy starring Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt, and the previously mentioned first installment of the Jimmy Power Hour crossover special. This month we'll also see the debut of the mini-episodic Flicky Quickie Corner, where I recommend a recent film and my thoughts on it in under 2 to 3 minutes. The first film to receive this honor will be The Supremes at Earl's All You Can Eat, a Hulu exclusive movie. The release drop on this episode is to be announced, but if you want to stay updated on when these reviews and more episodes drops, be sure to either 1. Subscribe to the show wherever you listen to podcasts, or if you're listening on YouTube, be sure to not only subscribe, but leave a like and a comment if you've enjoyed this episode or any other previous reviews of mine you may run into. And or number 2. Follow the show on social media. We can be found on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok under the username Pic-a-Flic Pod. That is PICAFLICPOD. No hyphens. If you use the Letterboxd platform, you can also find me there with that similar username, and I'll follow back anyone who follows us there. As always, thank you for listening to the show, and I hope you stay tuned for the next. Some exciting things are on the horizon. But until then, this is the Western Wonder, and I'm signing out. Peace. Now, if you don't mind, I'm going to go back to reciting my peaceful mantra. Keep it together, keep it together, keep it together, keep it together, keep it together.
Bye, have a great time.